Greetings metalheads and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I'm back with another Bands You Need to Hear recommendation. Wasn't actually originally planning on doing a Bands You Need to Hear recommendation review, in fact, of this particular outfit. Originally started off as just being a full review of their latest full-length album that I've been listening to quite a lot over the last few weeks. Actually, I'm a little bit late to the party with this album though, as it has been out for a few months now, released sort of latter 2023. But then from successive listens and also delving back through this band's catalogue and discography, suddenly realised that actually this is something more. This is a band that you absolutely do need to hear. The band in question today, we're talking about Legion of the Damned. Dutch band. This is an outfit from the Netherlands. They've existed as Legion of the Damned since about 2005. Prior to that, they existed for a number of years, I think since about 1992, I read, as Occult. Now, I was absolutely unaware of that fact until a few days ago, doing a little bit of metal encyclopedia research, and I feel like I've missed out on a whole chunk of this excellent band's catalogue. But that said, as Legion of the Damned, they have existed for a couple of decades now, basically, and they have got a good catalogue, actually, quite an extensive catalogue, some really top-notch albums. And this is Poison Chalice. This is the most recent album, this is the new one, and it's an absolute beast of an album. I really enjoy this. I'm a big fan of Legion of the Damned, in fact. I think that they are a fantastic band. They managed to perfectly combine elements of death metal and thrash metal. It's solid death thrash that really hits the spot, and it definitely satisfy the tastes of old school thrashers and also fans of the more extreme stuff, the more heavy death metal material as well. So this album, I'm going to start off with this one, Poison Chalice. This is a fantastic album, as I say. This is, in my opinion, overall slightly more on the death metal side, sort of melodic death metal if you like, than it is on the thrash metal side. Certainly some of the older albums that we'll talk about in a little bit more detail in a moment, they were far more on the thrash metal side than the death metal side. And I think that this album, Poison Chalice, while it is thrashing and ripping in quite a few places with some decent headbang material, there's a distinct, I guess, progression in the music, in the songwriting, a little bit more sophistication, a little bit more complexity and depth, if you like. There's a little bit more going on than just simplistic or slightly more stripped back thrashers. And that is in no way to say that I don't enjoy just a nice, simple, ripping thrasher, because I absolutely do. Big fan of thrash, blackened thrash, death thrash, whatever. Absolutely love it. But this is a sophisticated but heavy and involved Legion of the Damned. It's not an overly long album. It's about 45 minutes long. 10 tracks in total. You may notice here on this lovely digipack version, we have got a bonus disc. Talk more about that in a second. But it kicks off with a track called Saints in Torment, which is, again, an absolute death thrash ripper. It's got plenty of those thrashing elements, but it is heavy. That said, there is definitely a sophistication there, if you like. There's a little bit more to it, a grandiose nature, as opposed to just some of the more overt thrashers of the previous albums, shall we say. So it's a cracking way to kick off an album, though. It's a very bold statement. Then we're into Contamination, which brings the ripping thrash back a little bit more, but definitely a death thrash track. Progressive Destructor, track number 3, is a pretty punishing number. That's more in the thrash vein again, but a lot of attitude there. some really solid guitar work. I mean, that's one of the things that you really do notice throughout this band, just in general, but throughout this album, is that it's solid musicianship across the board. Cannot fault it at all. Really strong vocals as well. Unique vocal style, I will say. Other real highlights, track number 4, Skulls Adorn the Traitor's Gate. That really is a standout. That is one of the best tracks on the album. Fast, ripping, but deadly and abrasive. Death-Thrash. Favourite track, though, has to be track number 5, Behold the Beyond. That is, it's almost got a little bit of a, I'm going to say it's got a little bit of a black metal flair to it as well. It's not just a straightforward thrasher by any means. It's heavy, it's very fast paced. It's a charging, driving track, some killer riffs, absolute crunch fest, serious neck-breaking headbang material there. Then we just get a succession of absolute belters. We've got Retaliation, which is punishing and death metal orientated there. Same with Savage Intent, plenty of thrashing riffs. Chimes of Flagellation, rather. Heavy, really good track. Another absolute album highlight, Beheading of the Godhead, which is definitely it's got a more of a resonance to the older Legion of the Damned material. A solid death thrash track, start to finish. I mean, ripping riffs, plenty of crunch, plenty of chug there, seriously good stuff. And then the album closes with the Poison Chalice, the title track, which is very solid. It's a solid, grand track. Again, just like the album opening track, Saints in Torment, there's a lot of sophistication there, actually. It's quite a big sounding, bold track. A really solid one, nonetheless. And definitely a worthy title track. Solid start to finish. This is an absolute belter of an album. It does combine thrash and death metal, of course, but there's also a lot more there, in my opinion. I think really you've got to listen to Poison Chalice and you've got to check out some of those older albums as well. Just kind of appreciate the progression and the growth that clearly and naturally has come to the band. And as I say, this lovely digipack version, open it out, you observe there are 2 discs. So this form does come with a bonus live disc. It's 15 tracks in total. And if I remove the CD, then we can actually see. We've got 5 tracks recorded at Eindhoven Metal Meeting on, I presume that's October 2022. And then we've got tracks from Eindhoven Dynamo Metal Festival as well. All really good recordings. I would certainly say that the Dynamo material is the stronger or the better sounding. It does have that kind of, not bootleg, but it's not quite live album, like proper formal live album quality. But it's enjoyable. Definitely, if you're new to the band, if you're new to Legion of the Damned, and you just happen to be encouraged enough from my words and recommendations about the Poison Chalice to pick up a physical copy that happens to have this bonus live material disc, that material does definitely give you a pretty good tour of some of the highlights from the older albums and the earlier catalogue. We've got essential Legion tracks such as Werewolf Corpse, we've got Diabolist, the absolutely spectacular and ripping Bleed for Me. The title track Legion of the Damned is probably one of, if not the most notable and I guess memorable tracks from Legion's catalogue. Some other rippers include Slaughtering of the Pigs, Doom Priest, Slaves of the Southern Cross, and, well, we've got another version of Legion of the Damned and Dark Coronation as well. So it's a really solid live effort there, definitely. As I say, not quite the formal live album quality, no, but decent live recordings. It's not some crappy, scratchy recording on someone's phone quality or anything like that, nor is it, taken straight from the soundboard. It's decent, sounds good, and it's definitely going to appease the fans, existing fans of Legion of the Damned. So overall, I would say that Poison Chalice is definitely a standout. I don't think there are any bad albums in Legion's catalogues. I think, if anything, it's a strong continuation from a really strong band, a really solid band. They don't disappoint, in my opinion. And this does not disappoint one little bit. Mentioned the musicianship, which is incredibly solid. We've got this nice little booklet here. I'll show you the lineup. So there's our lineup. It consists of Maurice Swinkles on vocals. We've got Twan Van Gel on guitars. Fabian Verwey on guitars. Harold Guylan on bass. Or Gellan on bass. And then Eric Florin on drums. All very talented musicians, and I do apologise if I've totally mispronunciated any of their names. Not Dutch, but I did my best. Very talented musicians, as I say. Very, very solid performances throughout. The guitar work is fantastic, I will say. Ripping, crunchy riffs, amazing leads. But also, I will say that Maurice Swinkles, or Swinkels, is a fantastic vocalist, actually. He's very, very distinct. He's got a very unique and distinct vocal style. So definitely check out that album. But of course, as it's a band you need to hear, I'll take you through the rest of the catalogue as well. So we'll start at the beginning. It's actually quite an extensive catalogue, as I indicated. We'll start at the beginning here with... I think this actually came out in 2005, I want to say. But this is the first album. This is Malevolent Rapture. Now, you can see it's in this nice double CD or double disc form. Show you that, a little bit less glary. Very strong album indeed. This has got a little bit of a cult following. Legendary status for its fantastic Death-Thrash. And actually, I forgot how extensive this little package is. It's one of those nice, sort of, I think they're called fat box CDs? Don't know. But it comes with the inclusion of lots of bonus tracks and a bonus DVD. But tracks from this album that are absolutely essential listening include Legion of the Damned, the title track, kicking off the album. This is far more thrashing, to be honest, overall, this album, than it is... I'm going to take that back. I was going to say it's more thrash than death metal. It's very heavy on the thrash. Serious thrash riffing. But Legion of the Damned, Death's Head March, Werewolf Corpse, the title track, Malevolent Rapture, Bleed for Me, and Killing for Recreation. To be honest, start to finish, this album is solid, and it is full of thrashing tracks. I mean, overall... To give you some sort of idea of the sound of Legion of the Damned, it's got the thrash aggression and heaviness that we get from Creator, from Slayer, from old school Sepultura, but it's also got that kind of heavy death thrash vibe. Bands like the Troops of Doom, for example, that kind of sit comfortably in the middle of that Venn diagram. But it's also got the extremity on and the thrash aspect that we get from the thrashier death metal bands like Vader or Vomitory, for example. So any of those bands, if you're a fan, then you're definitely going to dig what Legion of the Damned have going on. Up next, got a interesting version, because this is actually a double disc version, because you can't readily get hold of a copy of the second album, Sons of the Jackal. So I've actually got this as a double pack with Malevolent Rapture as well, which was released in 2006, in fact. Sons of the Jackal was released in 2007 and boasts some very good songs indeed. This contains the title track, which is an absolute belter. We've got Undead Stillborn, which is a creepy one. We've got Sepulchral Ghoul. We've got Atomicide. And the great Diabolist. Heavy as hell. Good album. Again, stronger on the thrash side than anything. Third album is Feel Feel the Blade, try not to throw that on the floor, which I've only actually literally just got this. This was a second-hand copy from an importer to the UK from Germany. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was £4, and it's in practically new condition, so I'm not going to complain. So Feel the Blade. This one comes with bonus DVD and bonus tracks. Fantastic tracks in the form of Slaughtering the Pigs. We've got Feel the Blade, Obsessed by the Grave. Solid stuff, and this is where we start to get a little bit more of the kind of death metal aggression coming to the foreground. Another solid album. A legendary one, Cult of the Dead, up next. This is probably, if not my favourite, of the Legion of the Damned albums. Includes the brilliant Pray and Suffer, Black Templar, House of Possession, Cult of the Dead, Solar Overlord, Lucifer Saviour. Solid. Really, it's a heavy album. This is a really extreme album. And again, this is a nice digi with DVD. Massacre Records really do seem to put their all into these packages. But another solid album, one to definitely check out. If we're following it chronologically, we've got a killer live album, Slaughtering here, and this is another really extensive package. It's really nice package actually. You've got all those sort of tour passes or backstage passes there, and then if we open it up again, creepy, gruesome art stuff there. But we've got the inclusion of 3 discs, or it might be 4, I can't think, 3 or 4. So you've got live recordings from Summer Breeze Festival 2009, you've got Winter Breath Festival 2007, Thrash Assault Fest 2009, Partisan 2008, just loads of stuff. But it's killer. It's a really, really solid live album actually. I'm surprised I haven't done a live Killers review on this, because this is decent and it's a really extensive package. In fact, this could be the sort of optimal starting point if you were new to Legion of the Damned and you wanted to get an overview of their entire early catalogue, the first sort of 4 albums, summarised beautifully live. Then this is definitely a good place to start. It continues with these lovely packages, but also a very good album in the form of Descent into Chaos. So this says 2011. Not entirely sure if that is the correct year or not, but this is an absolute belter, packed with brilliant tracks. Night of the Sabbath, Shrapnel Rain, Lord of the Flies, Desolation Empire. Yeah, brilliant stuff. To be honest, this is really solid. This is an evil album. So many crunchy riffs though. Lots of highlights there. Carries on with an album that actually got a lot of mixed reviews. I remember when this came out. This is Ravenous Plague. When this came out, it was mixed opinions. Some people were absolutely loving it. Some people not so much. I happen to be in the camp of really, really enjoyed it. It has some absolute blinders on it in the form of Doom Priest. You've got Howling for Armageddon, Black Baron, Ravenous Abomination, Bury Me in a Nameless Grave. Some really killer tracks there. And they're all such nice packages as well. I haven't listened to this album in a little while, I will admit, but actually I know for a fact that it is a solid album. Ravenous Plague, and that was 2013. Now we're up to the album prior to Poison Chalice, Slaves of the Shadow Realm. Now this album is a fantastic album. It really did reignite my love for Legion of the Damned, as I'd sort of stepped away, listened to other things for quite a number of years. This was released in 2018. This was certainly a time where I was very much getting into old school death metal in quite a big way, and in particular the sort of thrashier end of the spectrum. But you take tracks such as Widow's Breed, rather. We've got Slaves of the Southern Cross, which is a fantastic track. Warhounds of Hades, Shadow Realm of the Demonic Mind, Palace of Sin, absolutely fantastic. Dark Coronation as well. Brilliant. Start to finish, Death-Thrash excellence. A real return to form, but I don't personally feel that Ravenous Plague was a letdown at all. I really enjoyed it. So, but this one was far better received, and it's a really good album, so rightfully so. And then that brings us right up to date with this excellent new album, Poison Chalice. So as you can see, they've got an extensive catalogue here. There's lots of great albums. If I was to pick the essential 3 for you to start with, then I personally would still be trumpeting the Poison Chalice, because I do think it's a really good album. But I would also reach right the way back to the debut, because I think it has such memorable, brilliant tracks on it there. It's freaking heavy as hell. And then sitting somewhere sort of comfortably in the middle, I'd probably go for Cult of the Dead. I think there's a brilliant album as well. Cult of the Dead or Descend into Chaos, but all of them, fantastic albums. Not a bad album at all in Legion of the Damned's catalogue. As I say, essential listening for fans of Slayer, Old School Sepultura, Troops of Doom, if you like Creator, Vomitory, Obituary, that's all good old school death metal, then you're definitely going to enjoy Legion of the Damned. So check it out. Legion of the Damned from the Netherlands. Death-Thrash awesomeness. What are your thoughts on this superb band? What are your thoughts and opinions on the Poison Chalice? Definitely go and check it out. Check these albums out and check that album out in particular. Share your thoughts and opinions on Legion of the Damned. Thank you very much for watching, my friends. Please do feel free to like and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, as always. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good, heavy things. But above all, my friends, take care of yourselves, and until next time, stay heavy.